Hello, everyone, and welcome to Solar Sidekicks. We are episode 22 today. My name is Pat Southwell. Thanks very much for joining us. We're going to be talking lots of things solar today. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional landowners of where we're recording this today, and that is the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation. And I pay my respects to all elders, past, present, and emerging. Last week was a big week for the podcast. We did 2 episodes, so it sort of went, they were one after the other, and I didn't get a chance in the second one to thank our guest for episode 20. That was Luke Beattie. Thanks, Luke. That was great. Loved it, mate. Had a lot of fun with you in the studio. Had some really good chats, so thanks for that. And then Scott Beasley from ESV. That episode still hasn't been released as we are recording this now. We just need some approvals from ESV, but it's going to be a really good one. Some technical stuff in that. Thanks, Scott, for giving your time. All right. Well, we got another guest in the studio today. Made their way down to Carrum. Most people will know this person in the industry, and it's a very warm good morning and welcome to Jack Long. Thanks for coming in, Jack.
Awesome to be here.
No worries.
Thanks, Pat.
No problem at all. You had a good little journey down to Carrum today, was it?
It was nice. Had the laptop out.
Yeah.
Trying to field through the new standard AS4777.
Yeah. Well,
1000 volt.
Yeah. What a big day in solar that is now. So. This morning, I think everyone's inbox is just lit up with the news that the standard had dropped, and it's been published as of today. So this is Friday morning. What's it today? We're the 23rd of August, 2024, and AS4777.1 has been published.
Why couldn't it be yesterday?
I know. Well, then we would have had to speak about it and actually know what we're talking about. Now we can actually have a chat about it, and yeah, no one's going to expect us to know anything because you can't. I don't even know if you can get your hands on the document yet. Actually,
speak to Glenn Morris.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. We'll have a chat with him about that. But look, mate, thanks for coming down. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with you in the industry, in your role, what you've been doing, what you've been up to. Some stuff you've done over your career. You've got a really interesting career, I reckon, mate. Some really interesting stuff you've done. And yeah, we're gonna have a chat about some of the good, some of the bad, and I'm looking forward to this, mate. Really looking forward to this. So you are currently working with iStore. That's right.
Yep. So I'm the senior technical leader at iStore PV.
Yep.
Started that in September.
Yeah, you've been there for a little while now. Yeah, 12 months. It'd be 12 months, wouldn't it? Just about getting on.
I passed probation.
That's good.
6 months. I remember that date. That was great.
Yeah.
It's about 11 months.
Yep.
Now to the day.
Yeah. Cool.
Good
stuff. And you've had other roles. You've been around for a while. You've been around as long as me. 2009. 2009 was when you came into the industry.
I think a lot of people came into that time because of the SHCP $8,000 rebate.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of 1.5 kilowatt systems, and you had the 5 times solar credits plus
the Phantom credits. Yeah, that's right.
It was June 2009 I started Energy Matters, just taking phone calls, inquiries about that program.
Yep.
And then I literally knew nothing.
Yeah, right.
Literally, nothing.
What did you do before that? What were you doing before that?
I worked at Taco Bell.
Yeah, cool. What were you, serving up enchiladas or something? Or
yeah,
nice.
Tacos,
margaritas,
quesadillas, margaritas.
Yeah.
I worked on the floor, so I'll, take the plates out, the meals.
Yep.
But sometimes be locking up, be a bit lazy, and there'd be big pot plants, and I'll just scrape the scraps into the pot plants near the front.
Yeah.
I was pretty average. But I worked at AGL in a call centre.
Okay.
As every 18, 19-year-old angsty emo does.
Is that how you would have described yourself back then, an angsty emo?
Yeah. Well, still am. still am. But back then, I was like, oh, yep. Finished high school.
Yeah.
I'm still on a gap year, technically. I didn't go to uni because I didn't know what I wanted to do at uni. I went to TAFE for 2 weeks, did advertising. I was like, nah.
2 weeks? What do you remember of that?
Big 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To get up.
Was that O week? Was that O week as well?
No,
It's a big.
no, it was the actual enrollment.
All right.
I remember it was RMIT in the city, Burke Street. I went for 2 weeks. I spent half the time at the pub or having coffee on the Grave Street. And I was like, nah, I'm going to rebel. I'm a problem child, whatever. I'm alternative. So
Yeah.
everything's a problem.
Yeah.
And I did what every emo alternative, child does then. I would work in a call center.
Yep.
Improve,
Yep.
And I was AGL, and I worked there for 11 months.
Yeah.
And then that contract closed up.
So when you started AGL, did you start in solar, or did you?
No.
Was it? Did you doing electrical? What were you doing? Like
Billing.
bringing people up, trying to get people to
Billing.
change their plans, or were they?
I was in general call center, so general customer service. So I was in I was in the billing department for a while.
Yeah.
And then I moved over to movers, which is like moving in and out.
Okay.
People
Yep.
move house and move in, have to reconnect, whatever.
Yep.
And I fed in really well over there. Really, it's my passion.
Yeah.
And then I dabbled in deceased estates. That was horrendous. That was
So you're chasing people's money who are dead.
no like if. Jeez, this got dark real quick.
It did it?
And it wasn't even
Didn't
the
take
dark.
long.
It wasn't even the dark topic I was going to bring. No, but so people. I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
No, that's all right.
It's bleak.
Yeah.
No, say, you would have like a power of attorney.
Yeah. Okay.
Call in regarding a deceased estate,
Yep.
transfer the account or close it.
Yep.
And I was the
You're the go-to man.
I was the gatekeeper. That was.
Yeah.
We've had dark days in Seoul.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah. It would have been. It really would have been.
but then, moving forward to June 2009, there was
Yep.
an ad because the contract was closing at AGL.
Oh, yep.
And it was like, do you want to work in? This is literally what it said: green energy. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't have to move building. It was just so lazy. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll just move floor. I don't have to do anything else. Great. This is literally the attitude.
Yeah. Right.
And then next week I was Energy Matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So so when did you get your accreditation? So you're an accredited designer. When would you do that study and get your accreditation?
I started doing the course, which is the GSES design, like the 2-module course.
Yep.
I started that in 2015.
Okay. Yep.
But since I wasn't like an electrician, I had to do the
They made it hard then,
I
didn't
had
they?
to do the RPL.
Yeah.
So I had to do all these courses, modules at Queensland TAFE,
Yeah. Right.
which is the only one that I could find in doing courses.
Would you go up there and do it, or was it online?
No, it was online.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah.
It was quicker to do it if you went there, but
Yeah.
I was pretty lazy.
Yeah.
But just on that, it was actually harder to find a pathway then to do the design accreditation only, than it was to actually do the course. It was like a minefield to work out. And the only reason I did it was because, Brendan Laidlaw?
Yeah.
Knackers?
Yep.
Yeah. So he used to work at Sun Edison, and he's like, dude, just do your design accreditation. You'll smash it. Like, just do it. Like, it's helpful to have it. And I was like, okay. And then I did it, and I got it in 2016. I got it.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to have. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it seems like they've made it a fair bit easier now to get
Have they?
with I think there's some training with a few people have done it. Supply partners have got something to do with it with new energy.
The supply partners one's good.
Yeah,
Who's the
I think they're doing. They've made it. I know they've made it a lot easier.
Israel?
Yeah, Israel's doing it. Israel Vogel.
He's good. He's
Yeah,
good.
Yeah. So they've got a course now where they've made it much easier for people who aren't electricians to become designers. So it's been, and I think that's a really good step forward for the industry.
I understand the need for sales representatives to have a certain degree of knowledge for designing systems, and I get it. It's just in this day and age in the industry, like a retailer's going to pay to put people through those types of courses. I remember when I did mine, it was like $2,000.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it costs at the moment. Actually, I don't know
what
if there's
the
subsidies or not. But yeah, look, I mean, I think a few people have gone through recently, but they're probably from the good companies, the ones that
I think
are
it's ultimately good.
Yeah.
I think good companies of staying power, will put salespeople through that course. I think it's excellent to have.
Yep.
I just think there's a lot of well, rubbish companies out there that
just won't bother.
Just won't do it. And then,
Yeah, well, they won't do it unless they're forced to.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, but the point was it was really hard to actually find a pathway to do it, but I did it. And I don't regret doing it, no.
Yeah. Well, you're certainly quite technical now. We've had some quite technical conversations. But you're more of a products person, so I'm probably more of the install side. So we can sort of bounce this stuff off each other. And
I'm a product person now.
You are, yeah. Well, what were you before? You were more install sort of thing before that? You reckon?
Both.
Bit of both. Yeah.
So, I ended up becoming I was in a field apps engineering at Energy Matters, which then obviously became Sun Edison. So that was an absolute disaster. And then Flex, it also wasn't great. In the end. So I was sort of running like the technical team. So I was like reviewing all the system designs for residential that came through. I was reviewing site inspections, variations. I dealt with installers. All day, all night. Dealt with manufacturers like Rod, Fronius, all day. That's what I was sort of working on.
And you were looking after the fleet a bit as well, weren't you?
Fleet, right? Sorry, I was all monitoring Wi-Fi, obviously, all monitoring related, everything like that. Voltage rise.
Oh yeah, voltage rise.
Voltage rise.
Yeah, well, I'm
2%.
sure that's. Yeah, I'm sure that's. I think that's a change in 477.1.
Can I ask you just a quick question just on voltage rise?
Yeah, go for it.
Did you remember? Obviously, October 27, 2010, New South Wales gross
feed-in tariff. Yeah,
7-year one ended.
Yep.
That's when that was a big night. I just can't fathom now, especially like New South Wales and a bit of Queensland as well. We were installing like 10, 11 kilowatt single phase SMA SMCs on sheds in like middle of nowhere. No metering, no export limiting. Like full send.
Just
And now it's just so.
Yeah. So I think I know what you're getting at there. Well, so I think.
No, sorry, that was a complete segue. I just didn't like.
No. Well, I think what happened is voltage rise. I think the standards were reasonably silent on voltage rise until AS 4777.1 2016 came in, right? And that's when the 2% was actually implemented.
Yeah.
But before that, I mean, it was really only what was in AS 3000, and it didn't really mention voltage rise. There's stuff about voltage drop, and you had to be under 5%. But
5%,
I mean, but a lot of those systems you're talking about, if you're putting 10, 11 kilowatts on a shed, they're still going to exceed 5% voltage rise. A lot of them.
No, that's my point.
Like,
I remember we were installing them, but there was nothing to say that you can't install them.
No. Look, I think if you read the standards, you probably could work out a way to ping someone for it, but it wasn't specific. I'm sort of going back a little bit now, and I wasn't.
There's no mandatory inspections.
Well, that's right. Yeah, and I wasn't inspecting them back then either.
And they're not online.
No, that's right. Yeah.
There's no CSIF.
No, that's right. There was nothing like that. That's right. Yeah, it was export. Was there even export limiting back then?
Well, no one was putting the meters in.
Yeah.
I know. Just my point was that it's so different.
Yeah. For sure.
To what it was. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I think it's changing again with the new 4777.1. I mean, I have to learn about what is in there with voltage rise, but I think there's some new changes, maybe export limiting changes.
Again.
Yeah, but I think it's, I'm gonna look back on this podcast and go, what are you saying? But from my understanding is, I think the 2% is changing if you export limit, which kind of makes sense a little bit, but I don't know, I've got to read it.
Because I remember a lot of the time I would have to go to ESV to get an exemption.
Yeah.
If the proposed system's going to be post 2% VR for the inverter AC terminal. Standard voltage rise.
Yep.
And you'd have to calculate the VR as in like, what is the passing output?
Yeah.
So then you'd submit, it's like $90 to ESV. And I'll give you an exemption. So you could technically use export limiting to get around the voltage rise standard.
Because it's still a safe, it's a safe.
But it's not written in, but up until, I haven't read the standard, but it was never stated in that you could use export limiting.
Yeah.
And I even spoke to ESV a lot of times. They're like, no, you can't
use it. I think I'm pretty sure that'll be one of the things which is in the new standard, but I'm not 100% sure. So we'll clarify that.
I'm going to go up to Glenn Morris's place next week.
Oh, ask him. He'll know all about it.
Unannounced.
Yeah.
He says he has bunk beds.
Yeah, just go crash him. That'll be fine.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know where I was going with that.
No, that's all right, mate. No, that's all good. That was a good chat. That was good. All right. So what about now? If you look at a few, you've worked at a few different companies over your journey. Who do you reckon are the main sort of influences on your journey in this industry? Who are the people that you've looked at as the mentors or the ones that you look up to a lot?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Probably myself. No. So as I said, when I started at Energy Matters in 2009, very angsty, emo, problem child, I guess, technically.
Yep.
Had no direction kind of thing. I'd never worked like properly as a full-time role kind of thing, or like earn my own money kind of thing, my own way. So I had no idea basically. But yeah, Nick Brass.
Nick Brass?
Do you know Nick Brass?
I don't know him. I think I've been introduced to him twice, maybe. Yeah, so I know who he is, but I don't know him well.
So he's one of the co-founders of Energy Matters.
Yep.
And he was probably the first individual that I actually witnessed like real show like true passion towards product or industry or what they were trying to do. And I was like, wow, this guy's...
Yeah.
Maybe he's just a good salesperson.
Yeah.
But like he sold me and then I got hooked. And then, so that was more of the company perspective. And then I think it wasn't until like 2013, 2014 when I met Adrian Laranio, ex-MD of Fronis Australia.
Yep. Definitely met him a few times. Yep.
Yeah. That dude.
Yep.
The king.
Yeah, he's done a lot, hasn't he?
Once again, he's probably just a good salesperson.
Yeah, yeah.
God, he sold me, man. Like I went down.
He's very charismatic. He comes across a very charismatic type of character to me.
Yeah, because he wasn't the MD when I met him.
Yep.
In like 2013, it was like Claude, I think, down Tullamarine.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a few training sessions down there, and obviously it was Adrian running it.
Yep.
Yeah, and that just complete 360 of my whole perspective of the industry. Because after that, I was like, wow, this industry is like awesome.
Yeah.
Like I can really get stuck in here. Like it's so cool and like the technology and like it's booming, it's emerging.
Yeah.
I can really get involved here.
You found your space. Is that what it was? You really found
the
your
first time in my
something?
life I thought I could do this.
Yeah, how cool.
I'm semi good at it and I'm actually interested.
Yep.
I think interest is a big thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So those two, were
they're the two main. They're the two main ones.
Two main ones.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Oh, that's really nice to hear. Yeah. Well, I reckon the first time I ran into you, actually the first time I heard of you, I was probably working at TVS, but I don't think I'd met you.
Oh, with Borgie.
No, he'd long gone by then, I reckon.
Oh.
I reckon he'd long gone by then. I might have been when I went back, I reckon. I started seeing your name popping up on the socials because, we're a pretty fragmented community, I reckon, up until, I don't know,
well,
a lot of the social media stuff that I think you had a big hand in.
It was, yeah. Hold on. Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because so you raise a good point. Because up until, I think the emergence of Crap Solar.
Yeah.
Which was Chris Stork.
Yeah.
Which was
2014, 2013.
2014.
Yeah, something like that.
But it didn't really go into full send until like 2015-ish.
Yeah, that's right.
But up until then, I worked at Energy Matters. You worked at TVS. I didn't know you.
No, we didn't know each other. No.
Like the only people that I knew were the people I worked with.
Yeah. That's it.
I didn't know anyone else, right?
No, that's it.
And then,
or unless you do a training day or something like that, you'd run into people.
Yeah, but exactly. Back then, there was like not many. No. It was like I used to go to like an SMA one.
Yeah.
Because they were trending at the time.
Yeah, they were. Yep.
Massive. But that's the only time you would see people, but you wouldn't really talk or it wasn't really.
It was weird, wasn't it? Wasn't it weird? Like you'd sort of see him and it'd just be a bit awkward or whatever. And then you look at us all now, we're all hugging and seeing each other.
Backslaps, all the cooler chats, all energy.
Exactly.
But like,
it's different now, isn't it?
But then I remember, I think someone posted on Crap Solar, and it was like, oh, I've got this SB 1700 SMA, obviously.
Yep.
I got this issue, if you don't know, like the Bluetooth repeater.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know the answer.
Yeah, you've done this.
And this guy's, this person was like in Perth or another state. And I was like,
yep,
I could help this person. And it sort of just
snowballed on from there.
From there.
Yeah, well, so I reckon we started seeing each other. We probably introduced ourselves to each other, and when probably around the time where I was at the CEC. So that's sort of when I sort of ran into you a bit more, and I started jumping on and trying to help people a little bit more where I could. But I was
putting out fires.
Yeah, putting out fires. Yeah.
You were on the IR.
I was there. I was the chair of the IRG from the end of 2017, I think it was.
You're the only one that I knew at the CEC.
Yeah.
I don't think Robbie was there.
Yeah, Robbie was there, but he was a bit more in the background.
I think he was in a different sort of role because he had his own business.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of that and doing a lot of CR inspections, and he was part-time.
I just remember you used to absolutely cop it on that. You used to absolutely cop it, like the Trojan horse of
I know.
CEC.
Oh, tell you
but
what.
a lot of the stuff you were getting done for wasn't even
nothing to do with
you at all. And you're like an electrician,
I know.
installer. Like you probably had the same issues.
Yeah, I know.
I just had such a
it was
bad disdain for you. Like I was like, but I also felt you were so like tightly like wound.
Yeah. Well, I was,
and you couldn't. Say or do a lot of things that you probably wanted to do.
Most definitely. Say. Oh, for sure. Like I had to bite my tongue a lot.
Yeah. You could just tell you were.
Like, I had a lot of ammo ready to go, ready to fire off. I've started firing a few of those bullets lately because now it doesn't matter. Now like I don't.
You now, I've got the podcast.
Yeah, well that's it. I'll say what I want now.
But I just remember you were so like you could just tell you wanted to get something out, and then since. You've obviously left CEC doing your own thing, inspections and the podcast and everything else you do. You're so like you look younger.
Yeah.
You look, cooler. You just seem more like relaxed and
Well, I think it was
happier.
Well, I think going back to that, I think it was a bit to do with like I was sort of attracted to the job at the CEC to try and make a difference, and then when I went in for the interview and I spoke to them all. I thought this is somewhere I actually could make a difference. This is something. This is the peak body who are looking after accreditation. This is the place to sort of do it. And it was somewhere I think most of the time, like their heart was really in the right place, and they were trying to do the right stuff. But a lot of the things that the CEC were trying to do, their hands were tied as well. But for other reasons that, whether it's an internal, fight or an internal disagreement or whatever it is, or there's another stakeholder. It's like any business. You've got internal stakeholders, you've got external stakeholders. Kind of got to keep everyone roughly happy. But I sort of saw that one of the stakeholders that the CEC wasn't really keeping that happy was the installers, right? And that was pretty obvious to me. And speaking to a lot of people now, people are more open to speaking to me about that now.
Installers?
Installers. Yeah, now they come up to me and say, oh, we weren't that happy about the CEC at the time, and I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me this, 5 years ago or whatever? But at least, I feel like it was a place where I hopefully could have made a bit of a difference, but also you got to walk the line a bit. You got to tread a fine line. So. Yeah, but it was, mate. I don't regret working there. It was good.
You was going to have an uphill battle if you, obviously work somewhere like that, and you're like on, Solar Cutters Facebook group, just getting like, in the trenches, getting grenaded.
Yeah, and that did happen a lot. And there was the thing is,
night.
Yeah, it was, but it was also, but you become a bit immune to it too, because a lot of the time it's the same people saying the same stuff. Sometimes in capitals or in red or whatever, they're saying the same sort of things, and you're like, well,
on a
Friday, and some of them are like, oh, I'll fire back every now and then, but I'm not going to listen to them because I know what they're going to say. No, it doesn't matter what I say, they're not going to change their mind. But the ones that were really wanting to either learn something or take something away or offer something, I was more than happy to speak to them.
It's annoying because I understand, because obviously on a Friday night it'll kick off.
Yeah.
But it was like the same 8 people say the same thing every time in capitals. It's just like very generic points that don't lead to any solution or resolution, which ironically used to overshadow the people who had valid points.
That's it, exactly.
And then they just got lost.
For sure. Well, and I also didn't want to become one of those people as well who just kept saying the same thing from another side. Like I didn't want to just be saying
copy-paste templates.
No, I didn't. I certainly didn't want to be that. So, mate, it was a tough gig for a while, but it was. But I wanted to bridge the gap. I wanted to bridge the gap between the installers and the CEC, and
With the IRG.
Well, that was good, wasn't it? I mean, we
CPD points.
Yeah, that was we did. We got CPD
15.
in the end. 15 was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, but it was like I feel like we couldn't achieve as much as we potentially might have been able to if things things were a little bit different. Like you sort of hamstrung a bit with some things. Like
when did you leave?
What's that?
When did you leave the CSC?
I left in 2021.
And you became an LEI in August 2021?
Yep, August. Yep, August. I've just pretty sure I just had my 3-year anniversary being an LEI. Yeah, good. I love it, man. It's good. It's hard, but it's fun. It's tough. There's challenges.
Where are they, by the way?
It's good. Yeah, LEIs.
Where are they? You're the only... I know... You're the only LEIs that I know, Victoria, are the people that I knew before they were LEIs. So, you?
Yeah. Well, there's...
Shane Clayton?
No, he's not an LEI. No. He's been doing the training for a while.
Oh.
Yep. So, So, Vaughan, you know Vaughan? Vaughan got his.
From Premier. Or,
yep, that's it.
Solar Doctor?
Yep, that's him. Yep.
Yeah.
He got his about 12 months ago, something like that.
Cool.
But
besides... like,
I know, not many of them engage too much.
Don't engage at all, I don't think. Well, the ones I don't, like, it's always just an email with a defect. And
yeah, well.
You got to spend weeks going to do
it. I don't know. Look, I mean, the ones I speak to, I don't speak to that many. We're trying to sort of create a bit more of a community of LEIs.
Is there a shortage?
I don't know. Like, everyone says there is. Everyone says there is, but it's not like... It's not like I'm, knocking people back saying, I can't work for you, can't work for you, can't work for you. Like, I've got enough work on, but...
Do you only do solar PV?
Pretty much, yep.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, solar batteries, yeah. So,
okay.
The odd switchboard, don't do truck appointments, but...
Is an EV charger non-prescribed?
Non-prescribed, yeah. Okay. Non-prescribed, yeah. So, look, I think there's just a lot of LEIs out there that just don't really... They just do what they need to do and don't really get out there in the community of, solar all that much.
Yeah.
That's what it seems. That's what it seems to be. But it's like, look, I think it's getting better. I think there was definitely an issue with a lot of maybe the older ones who were, and this is not all the older ones, by the way. I don't want to pigeonhole them.
I think, didn't ESV have like a change of management? I vaguely remember, like a year and a half ago, I think.
Oh, at ESV? Oh, maybe. Oh, I don't know about. I should have asked Scott that last week.
Beasley.
Yeah.
I love Scott Beasley.
Yeah. Well, and they've just brought in the RE license as well for inspectors. So, you have to have some sort of training and experience in solar. Yeah. And if now you become an LEI, you have to do an extra exam to be able to get that endorsement. I got recognition. So most of them did. So I was able to apply and say what my experience was, and they gave it to me.
No, man, I've always had so much respect for you. Not just because you worked at the CEC and you dealt with all that stuff on the Facebook page, but you just seem like a down-to-earth, genuine guy who was actually like super passionate. Yeah. About solar, which was rare back then. Yeah.
No, I love it, mate. It's a great industry. I love our industry. Like, I think I think now I'm sort of, I don't know, I'm more solar first, electrician second. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people wouldn't, a lot of Sparkies wouldn't say that, but I think, I love the solar industry, mate. I love the people in it. I love what we're doing, and it's such a good community.
Yeah, the people's why I do it.
Yeah.
Like the culture of the industry and where I work and stuff.
For sure. Well, I reckon we're going to go to our first break, all right?
Oh, yeah, breaks.
Yeah, we got breaks. So we'll go to our first break. When we come back, I want to talk a bit more about the sort of social media stuff and how that kind of got off the ground and the emergence of social media in the solar space sort of over the last, I suppose it's basically 10 years. And I think you've had a really big part of that. So
I mean, I know a bit about it.
Yeah, you do know a bit about it. Yeah. All right. So let's have a chat about that. And we'll have a break now and we'll be back in just a few moments. Okay. And we're back. Had a bit of a break there, Jack. That was good. All right. Let's have a bit more of a chat about social media with solar. All right. So we touched on it before about how it started. But I think, like, my take on it, the last sort of, 10 years or so, it's been a really huge part, I reckon, of education in our industry. Like, it's been one part about how getting the community together, and that's been, like, probably the thing I love the most about solar, but it's also been so good with education. Now you've had a big hand in that, I reckon. Like you've spent a lot of time. You've probably had been up till
had all limbs,
all arms, all limbs, everything. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I know. Like I think I've sent some question on Cutters one night. I think it was like, I don't know, 2:30 in the morning. I think you responded.
Lighted instantly.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll help you. Look at the answer.
yeah, exactly.
Cancel all plans.
And I'm just like, go to bed, man. This is for the morning. But
likewise.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, you've had like, let's say a big hand's probably underselling it a little bit, but yeah, you've been really involved in that, and that's, I don't know, it's almost, for me, it seems to be that was your life's mission for a while, just helping people.
It was my life.
Yeah, it was your life, just wanting to get people to get the answer.
Yeah, so there was obviously on Facebook there was Crap Solar, which is the first big group. Obviously, Chris Stork created that one, and I was an admin on that page. There was Crap Solar, then there was Quality Solar, so complete contrasting groups. And Solar QA didn't come till a few years later. And then, Solar Colors working together was actually CEC
installers,
accredited installers working together. And Cliff Wigg actually created it from Energy Wired. Very small world, because we actually used, at Energy Manager, used to use Cliff Energy Wired. So I got the votes from the admin. I was an admin on that group. And we had
You're an admin on all of them, were you?
Yeah. Yeah.
At some stage you were, yeah.
A bit burnt out now, but yeah. Because I saw this gap where, we can showcase, Australia's, New Zealand's, worst installs and the best installs. But on those 2 pages, you'd get, actual questions cropping up.
Yep.
I've got this installed tomorrow, or I've got this inverter, how do I do this? Or like just asking everything, everything. And then I thought, this is not really the right forum, because those pages had end users on there.
Yep.
And then I sort of tried to get everyone onto the Solar Cutters closed group only for installers, designers. And I just started like hammering it. Like I would work. At that point, I was pretty unhappy with work. And stuff. Like, don't know, the same systems every minute, designing the same systems. I was very burnt out and just upset and whatever, like emo.
Yeah.
And then, I'd go to the pub after work basically, and I'll just do Solar Cutters or social media and help people. I don't know, it became this OCD, like obsession to help people at any time. And then that's when it really took off, was when the manufacturers started to have an interest.
Take notice, jump in, have some input.
Yeah, you'd have Hot Rod on there. He's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
And he'll be on there helping, and then all of a sudden everyone's on there, like Fronius are on there. And nowadays you have, all the manufacturers have their own groups now.
Yeah.
But no, 2016, 17, 18 were the big.
Yeah, we took a lot of leaps and bounds in our industry with that, and a lot of it was to do with social media.
Well, it's good in the community, and bringing people together and helping, and doing it quickly, like rapidly. Because my whole obsession was getting people help quickly. Like if they message me at midnight, they're doing a Fronius in the morning, but they need help.
That's right.
Whatever, I'll get the answers.
For sure. Well, it did suit us, because it's such, at times it's been such a reactive industry, right? Like we've had, rebates pulled from under our feet, within hours. We've had governments make, these snap decisions which affect the whole industry. So we have to react. Like as an industry, we all have to react. So getting answers quickly it's a fundamental part of being able to run a successful solar business. So I think that sort of service, I suppose, was a service you provided to the industry to some extent. So I want to thank you for that, because it's got us out of some tricky spots, I reckon. And I think a lot of people will say that too.
Thinking back now, I think I went a bit too hard.
Yeah.
I think, because it literally, like, obviously there's work-life balances, work life and personal life, obviously.
Yeah.
But for me, and still now, as a result, it's just life.
Yeah,
There's no like off switch for solar for me, like because all my friends, basically, I know like from solar.
Yep.
And like my Facebook's all solar. Everything. It's all solar. Like I haven't had a holiday since like 2012.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So looking back, I did sacrifice myself, for the purpose of helping others.
Yep.
And building the network, building tech support. It's readily available by all installers and building people.
Oh yeah, look, it's definitely readily available, but I think what you were providing or what you were facilitating was a little bit different because there's a lot of the pieces of the pie that need to be put together, right? It's not just two people talking to each other.
No,
there's a whole lot of other things that need to line up to get the answer sometimes.
It's such a complicated industry with, like magnitude of different products and technology and wiring and like there's so many different nuances, like and all the standards and like and obviously different interpretations of the standards.
Yeah.
That needs to be talked about, needs to be clarified across, different states, different DNSPs, what the wiring rules are, what the regs are. And you can't do that over a phone call with one person.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it was good to try and bring everyone, together, and half of them are competitors.
Yeah, that's right. For sure.
Yeah. And then obviously all energy.
Yeah.
Heavy networking.
Yeah, well were they your holidays? I suppose
yeah.
You get to let your head down a bit at All Energy, or you've been to Intersolar before, haven't you? I think did you go to Intersolar? You went?
No, actually.
Well, you've been to.
I've been over to Europe when I went. I went to Fronius.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, that was So I've done all that.
Yeah, yeah.
I've gone to Salt Lake City with Fronius.
Yeah.
Talk there, but no. I think 2011 was actually the last overseas holiday I had.
Yeah.
Which wasn't drowned out by industry.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's one thing going overseas, but then it's trying to switch off for a little while and recharge the battery a little bit.
Yeah, and you just lose weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so with now, like you're we're all trying to look after our mental health. Like I find it a challenge. I think everyone has a challenge with it.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Do you reckon this is like? Do you reckon it's been hard for you trying to keep your brain healthy with the way you've sort of approached the just being wanting to help people and trying to I can tell you're really passionate about helping people. Has that been like a detriment to yourself? Yes. You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was passionate.
Yeah,
I'm still passionate about the industry.
Yeah,
I love it because it's all I do. It's all I know.
Yeah.
But that burning desire to help others and build a network, that's sort of withered away.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually realize that I had all these underlying mental health issues.
Yep.
Which is partially brought on by doing all that.
Yep.
All day, all night. Heavy alcohol addiction back then.
Yeah. Was that like those nights when you say you go to the pub and you jump on the laptop, help people out?
It would be
knock them back a couple of drinks,
4 or 5 nights a week.
Yeah,
because I couldn't do it at home. I couldn't do it around people, and it was like a safe escape for me. Yeah, I'd go. There was this Pokey's beer garden that I discovered had like a 24-hour license.
Yep.
So I'd just go there. I won't be disturbed, and I'll just have the laptop or the iPad or whatever phone, and I'll just do solar social media till 1, 2 in the morning. Wake up, hungover, go to work, rinse, repeat 4 or 5 times a week. But yeah, it never affected my actual work though, like my job.
Yep,
never affected that.
Or your responsibilities in your day-to-day full-time stuff. Yeah.
I was always I didn't go to uni, so I was always very job security. What's the word?
Conscious?
Insecure.
Yeah.
That's a better word. I was very like, oh no, like, and I had to constantly outperform at work and just crush it, and just, prove that I was, indispensable was the word. Indispensable was a big word.
Yeah.
And that sort of carried me through. That's why, Solar Cutters, I had to show that I was like a big name in the industry. I was popular, and like there's a bit of ego in there, thinking back. a bit of arrogance. But yeah, I just always had to push it, to prove to myself that, I'm okay, at my job kind of thing.
Mate, it's a lot of the things you're saying, like ringing a bell with me, like especially, I know what you mean, like about the ego and, having people think about you as the one who knows everything, the one who can connect everyone or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I get it, man.
Heroes get remembered, but legends never die.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Yep.
So
I've heard you say that a few times, I reckon.
It's a Ian Costa quote.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Yeah.
But I had this weird hero complex back then.
Yep.
And my brain was so warped with, alcohol and just working all the time. And I had to get the answer or know the answer. I had to be first. I had to network. I had to, show everyone that, I knew everyone and I had a network and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, it worked.
Yeah.
But the knock-on effect now is I'm pretty burnt out and tired, just always tired.
Yeah.
And just not as passionate as I was. But it doesn't affect my, work or anything. It's just
no, I can see that.
Outside work, it's like
yeah. Oh, mate, not everyone, honestly. Like, I think we're an interesting breed in solar. Like, I mean, you've taken it to another level. Like with the way you've made your whole life about solar, and that's what you love, and that's what you wanted to do. But I think we're an interesting breed. Like, the amount of solar I take outside of work as well is pretty insane. You reckon we're all freaks?
Friends.
Oh, friends. I think you said freaks.
I'm a freak, but we're friends. I'm a freak, definitely.
Yeah.
We're all friends. It's a very it's a very small industry compared to others.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I still do this now is more so because of the people.
Yeah. Yep.
This industry in Australia and also New Zealand, our industry has just the most amazing, passionate people.
Yep.
Like, Eddie May from NRG.
Yep.
Like, I don't know him from a bar of soap. Like, now we're awesome friends. I stay at his house, I go to Adelaide and we hang out and just talk shop or not. And he's it's just a random person I met through Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just amazing people, yeah.
It absolutely is, mate. I think, I mean, that's not the only reason I'm doing it too, but I just love the people, mate. I just love the people. It is.
And making money.
Well, I've got to make a living for my family and for all that stuff.
Second. It comes second. Don't about the money.
Yeah.
I just want to hang out, all energy.
Well, it's always good fun. It's always a good week. Although, it's usually.
Points,
Well, it's always
There's too many people.
Too many people at all energy, you reckon? Or
you talk to hundreds of people. You talk to them for 30 seconds.
Well, yeah. How many people do you have deep conversations with at all energy? It's not many, is it?
None.
It's none, is it?
Zero.
The smaller events are good for that, I reckon. Like the Smart Energy event in Sydney is pretty good, and the one they had in Brisbane this year, the Solar and Storage Live, was good for that. Like because it was a bit smaller, we were able to actually speak to people and get to know them.
It's an odd one because it's like every time I go to All Energy or the SEC or whatever other one, I end up just hanging out with the same people that either I work with or I've known for years. I don't really do any new networking.
Yeah.
I think Andy
mentioned that in one of his.
He has interesting.
Yeah.
It's like 80%.
Something like that. He said he wants to get to know, if he knows 80% of the room, he wants to get to spend time knowing the other 20%.
The other 20%.
Something like that.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah. Well, you can, mate. You can. You could just.
I'm too old now.
Mate, you're a fair bit younger than me. So
Am I?
I think so.
Aren't you 28?
Yeah, 28. All these grey hairs and I'm 28. Yeah. Mate, I'm 44 in 6 months, so.
And I'm washed up.
Mate, we're all washed up to some extent. Not that I want to downplay any issues you've had or anything like that, but we've all, it's a tough industry, mate. It's really tough.
Brutal.
You've definitely taken it to another level with your passion, though. I can certainly see that. Do you have many regrets about that, or do you reckon? Are you happy that you've been able to connect people, or is it just been too much of a toll now? You reckon?
I think hindsight's a wonderful thing. At the time, I sort of had the blinkers on.
Yep.
And I had a lot of personal issues at the time, so I just sort of distracted myself with solar cutters and Facebook and work.
Yep.
and just sort of drowned myself out in that regard. And it wasn't until years later where it was just like, that was probably not the best idea, because you just sort of, numbed and masked a lot of, health issues.
Yeah.
I don't regret building it and starting the network. I think it's amazing what exists now as a result, and the network that I've managed to build from nothing. And the people I know and the job I have now is probably partially due to that network and and all that sacrifice that I did. It's I don't regret it. No,
no, that's good. Oh, it's such a hard question. I asked that question to Andy McCarthy as well.
Big Mac.
I said, well, do you have any regrets? Because it's like, well, I find it can be quite a confronting question, because I find if you you don't want to hurt people, right? Or you don't want to hurt yourself. But if you don't go through those challenges, then it makes you different to the person you are now, and the challenges that you go through make you who you are. So it's a hard one.
I regret what I regret most about it is now I have zero personal life separation. My whole life now is virtually just solar.
Yep.
This industry, as I said before, and there's really nothing I can do about it. Nothing. It's always going to be that way. Go on holiday, take a break, turn your phone off, but you're always going to come back to solar. Solar for me is never just going to be a day job, 9 to 5.
Yep.
That's what I regret about it, because it just destroys your mental health. It's horrible, and alcohol and mental health and meds, anxiety, depression, OCD. It all just That's what I regret about it. Yeah.
So that's the personal toll, isn't it? Really.
What's it?
Well, it doesn't sound like you've hurt anyone. I mean,
I hurt myself. Really.
You hurt yourself. Yeah.
I've just I've bad relationships in the past, or work, and it's just I can't switch off from what I do, which is solar and the people, and that drive is still there. It's just I just regret how it's changed.
Yeah.
There's no separation.
Yeah.
And
I'm hearing you, mate. It's Oh, there's one thing's for sure. There's plenty of life to be still lived.
Have a new job.
Yeah. Well, we're still lots of things to do in the industry, but we don't have to do them. We don't.
Oh no, I love what I do now.
Yeah.
It's just I just have to deal with the reality of who I am and what I do. Which is fine. It's just annoying.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, all right, let's go. We're going to go to our second break now. A couple of extra things I want to talk about. Maybe a bit more technical stuff or a bit more industry stuff. I don't know. See where it goes.
What are the TPD points for this?
10 at least. Well, I don't know. I could probably apply.
5?
Do a quiz at the end, maybe.
Okay.
All right. So we'll wrap the show up when we come back. We'll talk a little bit more about what's happening in the industry and any other conversations coming right up. Okay, and we're back from our last break. All right, Jack, this is going really good. I appreciate you opening up like you did in the last segment. I think it's come across really well. I think it also shows that a lot of people. There's a lot of stuff going on in people's lives, and it's not all beer and Skittles with everyone. We're all
beer and Skittles.
Yeah. Well, we're not all just always going through, what everyone sees on social media. There's stuff happening in people's lives, and it's tough.
There's stuff that happens in between posts.
Yeah, that's right.
Instagram photos, reels. Yeah. There's stuff that happens in between. Obviously.
Well, we sort of had a chat about this before. I'm sort of guilty of it every now and then. I'll put things on social media and think people must think I've just got the most perfect life. You know what I mean? They got no idea what other demons you're struggling with or issues. Whatever they are. So it's It
can be a bit of a facade.
Yeah. For sure.
Front type sometimes.
Definitely. So I appreciate you opening up about all that sort of stuff, which has been really good. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about, so you're working at iStore at the moment.
Yes.
Now they do, so we had Luke in last week. He had
from the
told
podcast.
Us, yeah. Yeah. He was in speaking about stuff. Now,
That was a good one.
yeah, it was good. So we didn't talk that much about iStore. We did a little bit, but not too much. You got a pretty good team you're working with. A lot of them are in Perth. That's right, isn't it? You got.
Yeah. So it's headquartered in Malaga,
Yep.
Perth.
Malaga. Yep.
And the service centre is just in Rockingham.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a. I don't want to say it, but like life changing
Yep.
event, I think.
Yep.
Which I'll unpack.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to quickly. I left RACV last year, last year.
Yep.
That was pretty horrible because it was, had no drive, livelihood wasn't working. Literally did nothing for 3-4 months. And when people say nothing, they usually mean, oh yeah, I did nothing, but they did something.
Yeah.
They literally did nothing.
Yep.
Literally, like nothing. And then I jokingly messaged LB, Luke Beattie,
Yep.
on the podcast.
Yep.
There's always a joke asking if iStore had any jobs on the PV side because I knew they were coming to market with inverter batteries, EV chargers, induction cooktops.
Yeah.
And they've had the heat pump and the pool heat pump for nearly a
Heat
decade.
Heat pumps been around for ages with iStore. Yeah, been seeing it.
Yeah,
everywhere.
and that's a great product and a great team. And I was like, I can see myself there. And then he's like, oh yeah, definitely. But there's no role, but we'll just make one up for you. And I was like, all right. Anyway, I fly up to Sydney, meet Wayne.
Yep.
He's my boss.
Yep.
But prior to that, I had a Zoom call with Wayne and Dom.
Yep.
And they were pretty happy. Anyways, so kick the can down the road, go to Sydney, had lunch with Wayne and LB. They sold me on it. And then I took the job.
Yep.
Started in September. And this is the life-changing element. Because I came from RACV, which is a big corporate structure.
Yeah.
Just didn't gel well with me in already a very stressful role industry. Anyway, Wayne goes to me because I was very, work-life balance is very important. Like I will work as hard as anyone. I will absolutely crush it. I'll do the full send with work. But work-life balance is critical. Anyway, he's like, yep, all done. By the way, we're like a big family here at iStore. We're a big family. It's a big family culture. And, you'll love it and you'll probably be here forever. And I was like, I like the sentiment, but, it's a bit, everyone just says that. Whatever. And then, when your whole, I had, some issues after I got the job, in my personal life.
Yep.
And then, because I always want to work and perform and show that I'm like healthy and performing and like I'm indispensable, but like it was hard what I was going through. And then Wayne, oh man, it was like that quote about family and culture. We look after everyone like one big family. That was true, man. Like that was like, he was like, call me every day, every night, messaging. Like he flew over. I flew there. We hung out and stuff. Like it was like pretty amazing. It was just a sentiment to like how amazing that culture is in that team in WA and like obviously all over Australia. But yeah, it was just, and I realized I'm like, wow, man, like, that was, and I felt like, like loved and wanted and needed and like appreciated, and they would do anything for that. And it was just a very humbling moment when you're going through a pretty rough time and everything you do is work related. And it was just very nice.
Had you felt that way before in your work life? Like
No.
No?
No, never. Not like that.
Not like that.
That level was just like never.
Yeah. Like I'm sure you've worked at places where you felt people have cared about you and they want to the best for you, but then this is just taking it to that next level with the way.
Yeah, iStore, working at iStore, it feels more like a family than work, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
And I think that also goes into the product to a certain extent as well. Like the heat pump's been out for nearly 10 years, great product, like constantly developing the product and the pool heat pump. Now we've got the inverter, the battery. We've got the larger hybrid inverters coming, EV charger, and we enjoy it. We love it, and we develop the app ourselves. Like all the monitoring is developed in house by us.
Yep.
It's just a really good product to work on. The service team. We have Tiana. He's in Rockingham. We've got Kirsty and Elise, the CEO.
Yep.
Just amazing people to work with, and I think that shows with like the product. And we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a plug. That was like
no, that's nice to hear.
That's actually how I feel about
honestly.
There.
That's nice to hear. You hear a lot of companies, a lot of the larger ones as well. They will throw that word family around a lot. And say that they're a family and all these sort of things.
That's what I thought was happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
when they actually demonstrate it and make you feel...
I hit rock bottom and I thought this was going to be it for my job. I thought there's no way out of this. But it was actually the complete opposite.
Yeah.
It was, definitely family first.
Yeah. No,
might be the new iStore tagline, right?
Family first.
I don't know. Yeah, it was just good.
Yeah. No, that's good. Well, you haven't dropped the Simpsons quote in yet, have you? I don't think. Oh no, you said rock bottom just then. That's a Simpsons quote, isn't it? Is that Simpsons? Rock bottom. That's the name of something. Is it a bar or something? Like I don't know.
Dude, I don't remember what even Simpsons tattoos I even have anymore. To be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think I've hit the point now.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Mate.
Stop getting crappy tattoos. Then get your knuckles tattooed instead.
Yeah,
that's a great idea. I was going to get sandwich. Really like the high technical conversation we're having on the
that's good.
solar sidekicks.
Yeah, it's it. It's something about solar anyway. Yeah. All right. Well, that's nice to hear about iStore and
so.
I appreciate hearing those sort of stories. We had I've had a few people come in and speak really highly of the companies they work for. I don't know about it as highly as what you just mentioned. That was
moving,
quite nice. Yeah, it was. It was really nice to hear. Really nice to hear.
Nah, they're Wayne and Dom.
Yep.
Just like the whole thing is. Just amazing.
Yeah, great. All right, cool. Well, all right. Let's change speeds a little bit.
Mm-hmm. High technical chat.
Yeah, sort of. Well, it's another product sort of thing. We know.
Oh no.
No, it's not really my domain. Powerwall 3 was launched last week. Oh. Interesting stuff. Looks like it's a little bit different to the Powerwall 2. With the way
DC inverter this time.
Yeah, gone back to DC. Gone back to DC. I never had anything
Retro.
to do. Yeah, well, I never had anything to do really with the Powerwall 1s. It's more like a Powerwall 1, isn't it? Is it?
Both.
It's both. Right.
You can DC couple, so it's got the inverter.
You can DC. Well, you can DC couple of 3, can you?
Yeah.
Sorry, AC couple of 3.
Both.
You can do both. Yeah.
DC and AC couple.
So it's like a mix between a 1 and a 2, or you can do either or whatever.
Either or both.
You can do what you want.
But there's 3 variants of the one product.
Yeah, I have heard that.
Which is interesting.
Interesting too. Yeah.
It's all software.
With all interesting. That's controversial, isn't it? Well,
it's interesting.
It is interesting. Well, it's an interesting product. It's got a lot of people in the industry talking about it.
I think ultimately it's good for the industry.
Yeah,
like they've got a pretty renowned name,
good brand,
and drive product. And the product's pretty sound. Like Powerwall 2 was flawless.
Powerwall 2 is pretty good, isn't it? Yeah,
the Gateway 2 and the Powerwall 2 was flawless. It paired with Fronius, Enphase or iStore.
Yeah, yep.
Just a great product all around. The tech support's been awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, I was in Perth, coming home from Perth on the Friday, so I couldn't actually go to the launch in Sydney. But yeah, man, my WhatsApp the next morning was just overflowing.
I've seen a lot of social media on it. A lot of people are talking about it.
A lot of questions.
Yeah, there's going to be
rephrased.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of questions. Although one thing I did notice on socials this morning, once the 4777.1 dropped. From what I hear, Powerwall 3's got a max input of 600 volts, which a lot of inverters do.
I think I bang on about this a bit, but a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the single phase inverters these days are capped at 600 volts max input, so it's irrelevant if there's 1,000 volt. I think the only one that I know of was like the Fronius Snap Primos.
Yeah, 8.2s.
Does up to like 1,000.
Yeah, they go. I'm pretty sure they were the ones.
The 6, I think, too. I think Primogen 24s that's back to 600.
Yep.
But basically, all three-phase inverters up to like 1,000 or 1,100.
Yeah, that's right. Because they're usually used on commercial applications.
Yeah. So that's when that 1,000-volt thing will come in handy. But I don't think it's as big of a deal in the resi market as people make it out to be.
Well, it's good to have that flexibility, though. If for some reason the next wave of panels coming in are going to be like, I don't know, they could be high voltage, low current or something. I mean, I don't know enough about that technology to know if that's going to happen. It seems to be the current's the thing that's being going high now.
The issue with the 25% tolerance is pushing a lot of inverters to the brink.
Right to the limit.
Because you've got like, on inverters, obviously, you've got like the 2 ratings. The current, you've got what is it? Max input current, and you got like max erasure token current, which is the one that you
ISC.
that's
right.
The one that you go off, which is the higher one.
The higher one, yeah.
And now a lot of those ratings are going to be like eclipsed because the modules.
Yeah.
But we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But like a lot of inverters now have 3 trackers.
That's right.
Trackers,
a lot of them do now. Like, that's right.
And people are pretty used to designing within 600 volts.
Yeah, that's it. We've got used to it. We've got good at it. So
I just like it's awesome for 3-phase and large resi stuff, but it's not as big of a deal as.
It would have been good. It would have been
3 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say 5 years ago.
Well,
yeah,
5 years ago
whatever it was. Yeah, it would have been a total game changer.
So what was the issue? There wasn't it the overlap.
No,
between like 5033 and AS4777, like were they like all conflicted?
No, what it was. So 5833 calls it out saying you can go to 1,000 volts now, but the problem is. Also, you need to comply with all the standards. So in 4777.1, which is basically the AC standard, there is one clause in there that says you can't have DC input over 600 volt. Now, it's not even anything to do with 4777.1, but because it's in there and it's written there, you couldn't do it. Now, the intention of having that clause in there had something to do with batteries, I think, but it's still written in there.
Because Sorry. The 1,000 volt rule applies to any DC.
That's right.
Site.
Any DC,
so
yeah.
So if you're, so it'd be batteries as well.
I think so. I better check.
DC coupled batteries.
Check that.
Has the.
I don't know actually. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's in 533. Yeah, I think that's right.
I think you told me that.
Hang on, no. In 533 won't be batteries. That'll be.
No. I think it was a broad statement where the that 1,000 volt reg applies to all DC. String circuit, whatever, on the premise.
Yeah,
I think.
From 4777. From 4. Yeah,
I'm so confused.
We're gonna have to do some reading, I reckon, mate. It's gonna be some.
Glenn, if you're listening, need some help, Glenn. I think me and Pat will come up.
Yeah,
for a weekend and maybe a clinic on for us because it's just.
They'll look over it'll become clearer over the next few weeks. Once we get our hands on a copy, start looking at. Doing a few webinars.
Oh, when can you get the copy?
Well, it should be available now, but I think some people are having trouble this morning, but I'm sure it won't be long.
Will you send me yours?
I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. Can't we just scan it and...
I'll ask Rod.
Scan. Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
I messaged Glenn this morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, just give me a summary.
Well, that's a lot of the time.
Give me the summary.
A lot of the time, that's what we want to know. We just
give me the hot goss from the standard.
We want to know what the main sort of changes are, I think.
Right. What can't I do?
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Well, I think we're coming into closing comments now, Jack, of the podcast. I want to say thanks for coming in. It's been pretty raw, a lot of this chat.
Yeah.
It's been good. A lot of the time I say it's good to get to know you better, but I feel like I know you pretty well. We've been around the industry for a while now. Yeah, it's a long time. Good to speak about a few things. I think, anyone who's having trouble, especially you, Jack, and anyone in the industry, like I think the industry is really good at throwing their arms around people when they're having a tough time. So if that's something, is required, I think anyone listening who requires help, yell out. There's a lot of people that are willing to help.
I think it's important to look after your mental health. And for me, I only realised it because, through work, industry and stuff, and that was a bit extreme. But, a lot of people have issues that, that I don't talk about stuff. And I've learned a lot about myself through the last, 8, 9, 10 years of doing solar. And, it sucks. It sucks. Your mental health is pretty bad. But, you have to take it day by day and train yourself with the right people. I think that's important. And like we work in a great, prosperous, emerging industry, and it's only going to get bigger and better. So that's nice. You know, yeah, it's nice that we do that.
Yeah. For
it's
sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah. Look, I want to say thanks from the whole industry for everything you have done. You made some sacrifices too, and you know, yeah, you'd certainly have, and I think the industry's benefited from it. So I want to say thanks from the industry, and a personal thanks as well for everything you've done, because it's been great. It's the whole social media landscape of solar has been such a huge thing with us all learning and coming together, and you've been like right at the forefront of that. So
thank you.
I want to say thanks for that.
Oh, thank you.
No worries, mate.
And thank you to you as well. I've known you for just around 10 years now, and you're a great person, and an asset to the industry. What you're doing with the inspection stuff is amazing, and you've got this real drive and passion for it, which I think that space needs for inspections.
Yep.
But yeah, I appreciate you too, Pat.
No, thanks, mate. No, that's nice. That's nice to hear. It's love the industry and what I do, and it's still enjoying it. So yeah, just going to keep doing it and see what happens.
I hope so.
We'll see where we go.
Hope so.
All right, cool. No worries. All right, we're going to wrap the episode up now. That's the end of episode number 22. I got another guest coming in next week, so that should be fun. Another guest. Yeah, I got a guest every week.
I usually just say guests now.
Sometimes, it can be a week to week thing. Sometimes it's hard to know who's going to be coming in week to week.
I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm really glad you came in too, mate. It's been really good. So,
awesome.
Well, next week we'll have another guest in, and we'll be having another chat, and we'll see you all at the same time next week on Solar Sidekicks. Thanks very much, everyone.